There we are.
Nice, Ray.
Good.
Nice.
Oh, you're on the wrong side. There we
That's
are.
awesome.
What's up, brother? I think we got this thing going, right? Trying something a little different today. Let's just start it. Start it up. Start it up. I have figured out one of the things while doing the studio over at Matt Ferris. One of the things I've noticed about myself is that you know how the first few minutes of the show bother the hell out of me because I can't stand the guy who's in the chair. I'm not like settled down
Right.
yet or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with it's because the guy who's in the chair isn't usually the guy who checks all the lights, make sure the camera's the mic, that like all the stuff is hot.
Yeah.
And so the first couple minutes, I'm still in that. I'm like, finally, we got to push the button right before. And then for some reason, I just, is what it is. So I'm hoping that maybe by doing it this way, us just kind of chatting our normal way before we kind of set stuff up, I'm hoping that that may be a little more organic. And honestly, what it feels like to me is much more, sort of, remember how Life with the Ryans was? It was just kind of like, da 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 da. And then the show started. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember those days.
What a wonderful
Crazy.
segue.
Set it up perfect.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will become more organic in time. There we go. Get this shit going here. That's it. Bring it in. And hey, that's not right.
Russell Brand in the studio today.
Hey, that's right. No, let's
Everyone welcome
bring that
Russell
back
Brand
to
to
the
the
right
studio.
side. There we are. Misleading much?
That's
There
awesome.
you go. That's right. We buried the lead. Forgot to tell you live at 5 tonight. We've got Russell Brand. Yeah.
Surprise.
Oh man, get my red lights going here. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good also. I'm well,
You had
as
a
I think
busy
they
day,
say.
didn't you?
I'm exhausted. I literally came
Gotta
from
be.
from one studio to the other to get here today. But in the meantime, hello to my friend Tory. Hello to my friend at home. Tonight is Thursday, August 6th, 2020. My name is Jay Ryan. Right here to my left is Mr. Tory Alonzo, and it's so good to have you. In a little bit, we're going to be talking to Ray Shaffer, as we usually do, and I think some of the subjects of discussion tonight will be, I know Brian Redmond, who was on Fresh Brewed and Air Cooled last week. We'll talk about that. I know you got a car pickup, and Ray's got a display being made, so we'll probably talk about that a little bit. And if you guys are curious at all, or if anyone at home is, I'm happy to talk a little bit about the Smoking Tire Studio, as much as I can anyway. But that's what we've got. That's what we're doing tonight. How's it feel?
Full show.
Yeah,
Some
I mean,
fun talk.
it is. It is. We've also got new sponsors. We've got something else I want to do. It's fun. It's all around. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Awesome, man.
With the exception of the fact that I'm exhausted and in my work clothes. I'm in my relaxing work clothes, but I didn't change and put on my nice show clothes. I usually
It's
do.
all good, man. You get
Just
a pass.
Didn't get to it. Didn't get to it.
And
is
that's
what it
no
is.
like small jaunt from the valley. I mean, you're going damn near by LAX.
Yeah,
What's
it is.
traffic
It's
like these days? Is it a
you
little
know
better
exactly
because
where
of
it is.
COVID? Yeah.
It is. Well, how would you describe it? I don't know. It's fine in the mornings, and it's okay. It's not that bad in the evenings. I mean, for anyone not from here, they'd be like, "This is, this is awful traffic." This is what they say about LA. But if you're from here, it just has been much better than
Right.
the old days lately.
Right.
And it's a shame for why, but it has been a lot better, at least from what my experience. I'm only going to the same place all the time, though. You know, we're only ever going to Newcomb's or Malibu Kitchen or now the Smoking Tire West Side Collector Car Storage.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
All very far away from each other too.
Yeah, they are. They're all different directions. That's a good point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got to find something straight north. What's straight north? Find something in
Yeah, I
Santa
know,
Clarita.
right?
That's funny.
That's crazy.
So other than this and the whole bit, usually I have my nice Hunziker tire or something from somebody that we love to support.
I'll rep Hunziker today. It's all good.
There
baby.
you
I got a
go.
little-
Well, that's
yeah,
nice. I
a
like
little-
that one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's cool. Carrera Pan Americana, baby.
Oh, that's bitchin'.
Yeah, I love that
You
one.
know what, though? I do want to bring something up because if you're watching this show now, then you should know that next Tuesday when we do... Oh, I forgot to mention. Hey, welcome back to Tuesdays with Tory, Thursday edition. And we'll talk about why
Sorry
it's
about
on
that.
Thursday as well, probably. But tune in next Tuesday for Tuesdays with Tory, and we are going to be giving away something here. Let me get this going. Here, let me do a little spot for you. Here we go. We wrote this. Hey, need a mask? ShopHunziker.com. The Hunziker line has really gotten very cool with some of the new stuff that they've got out. And I'm going to put, let's see which one I want to put on. I'm going to put this one on because I think I want this one pretty much myself. Here we go.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah, it is. Oh, no.
I dig that.
Looks like a needle nose. Hey, what's up, needle nose?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But these are comfortable. They're awesome. He's got all sorts of different stuff. You like houndstooth. Who doesn't like houndstooth? This one's Mrs. Ryan's. We'll put that over here. Oh, if I didn't mention before, Mrs. Ryan's on assignment. And we've got Pasha. He's got all sorts of cool stuff. I happen to request, this just because I like the one, of course, even though I believe it's Italia for Ferrari. But actually, that's kind of on brand with me lately because I've been spending some time with that Lamborghini Countach that is just gorgeous. The car's never really done anything for me, but seeing somebody else's available to just look at all the time is awesome.
That's cool. That's really neat.
I think what that's all about. So we are going to be giving away a mask next week on this show, Tuesdays with Tory. All you got to do is we'll figure out what you got to do, but you got to be watching because we'll do it live. So somebody who's watching us live, it may be that simple. All you have to do is be the one person who's watching us live, although I think it's more than that today. Just show up. I think that's it. Just show up. I think it's more than that today. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Very cool.
I actually went on his website the other day and was looking at all the different ones he's got. He's got some really cool ones. I like.
There are a lot, right?
Yeah, he's got like the Hippie 917. He's got some Golf stuff. He's got some really, really cool ones. I happen to be on, I don't remember where it was. It was some website, and they're selling these Steve McQueen ones. And so I talk to Maddie every now and then, Chad's daughter, and she's in charge of doing the apparel and the licensing and stuff now, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, did you guys do these masks? And she was like, no, we didn't know anything about those. She's like, thanks for letting me know.
Shut it down.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I remember that from the Back to the Future days. Whenever there was something, we just, hey, what do you think of this over here? Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Bob Gill calls somebody up in the tower and has them write a C&D. Anyway, exactly. I think these are super cool. I mean, obviously, masks are the thing right now, beyond the fact that you ain't cool unless you wear a mask. These are cool ones to wear, and they're legitimately very comfortable, and the material is awesome, super soft. Mrs. Ryan's kind of sensitive, so am I. You want stuff like that, so I'm stoked.
Those are cool. About it. I don't think this is going away anytime soon, so yeah, might as well be styling and profiling. You got to wear one.
That's kind of where we are. I've been doing the bandana forever, and he said he was going to send some of these, so I didn't want to buy any masks. And then finally the other day, I was like, I'm sick of this bandana. I can never get it right. I need to wear a hat to keep the knot up. It's a whole thing. So I got some like just the regular surgical ones, and then of course these just arrived. So it is what it is. I can't wait to wear these tomorrow to Breakfast Club.
Yep, that'll be cool.
Oh gosh. All right, that's what's going on with me today. How about you, buddy? We should.
Wow.
What can you tell me maybe about how your pickup went the other day, and that might lead us right into about 5:15 when Mr. Ray Shaffer will be available to come in.
Yeah, we can do that. Pickup went well. We're
talking about your car, right?
Yeah, the 906 got picked up by reliable carriers the other day. I got like a 24-hour notice on it, which was always nice. I always hate when they're like, "Hey, we're 30 minutes out. Can you be there?" I hate that. So. And I've had that before too, but
no. This is your mailbox, right?
Yeah. Well, with all due respect, he did actually call the night before, and he was like, "Is there any chance we could pick it up tonight?" He's like, "We don't have to do it until tomorrow," but it was storming. I was like, "No, I'm not driving this car in the rain. I've got it kind of detailed and it looks nice." I was like, "I'd rather just
It's going into a museum. Tomorrow. It needs to stay how it is."
Yeah, and that car is a pain to clean because you have to take everything apart, and water gets everywhere, and so So I ended up just telling him, hey, let's just stick to our original plan of tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. So 8 a.m. I showed up, and he was there, and we loaded it, and yeah, it was nice. And I will say that we had way less of I don't know if the trucks are just different, but I had Intercity bring it out when I bought the car originally from L.A. And, dude, it took us 30 minutes to get the stupid thing off the truck because he had to put, blocks under it and all this stuff.
Angles?
I
Because the
guess it
geometry.
had to have just been, yeah, like whatever the ramp situation was inside the truck to like get it all the way the front to the back. Like it was just a pain in the ass to do. So when I rolled up, I was like, "Is this gonna be a problem? Like, yeah, blocks and all that stuff." And he was like, "No." He was like, "There's a what was in there? There was a Ferrari what was it? I think a 488. Yeah, there's a Ferrari 488 in front of my car, and he was like, that thing got on no problems, and it's like way lower than your car. So
Oh
yeah,
wow,
we literally just drove it on the ramp. He put it up, and it went on the top deck, and then yeah, that was it. I think he had
that's
one
so
more pickup
awesome.
to do, and
I'm
yeah, that
sure
was
they're
it.
used to moving that type of car all the time too, right? I mean,
Yeah, he
anytime I
said
go to the
he.
track or whatever, I always see like, or an auction or whatever. It's always reliable.
Yeah. They know what they're doing, and he was super careful with it. So I mean, that was cool. But yeah, that all went well. And then, man, I gotta tell you, I want that next day service on the way up. That was nice. Like, I mean, I always have to wait like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and
Oh, to
literally
get a
like
slot.
this. Yeah, literally, they dropped it off in Atlanta the next day. I was like, wow.
You're
So
kidding.
no, it
Didn't
was
we think it was
literally
going to be
next day
2 to maybe
service.
3 days?
I thought originally maybe, yeah, because I they
Wow.
usually try to time stuff on the way, like to pick up and drop off along the way. But no,
So it's
that
already in
was.
Atlanta.
Oh yeah, it's been there for
Oh my
like 2 days
gosh.
now. Yeah, literally the day after. So I think if that was Monday, they picked it up. They had it Tuesday. So yeah, crazy stuff. Does that sound right? I
What
think.
does it feel
Yeah.
like with the empty barn?
It's weird. I mean, the taxi's in there right now. I've got the Mexico City taxi in there, so I've been driving that this week. But yeah, it's
Here's the
weird.
thing. I couldn't take a picture of it. It was going the other way. But I passed one the other day coming home from Smoking Tire on the 405. It was going south, like towards LAX. And
No
it
way.
had,
That's cool.
yeah, and it had it was not a taxi anymore, but it was clearly the
Hmm.
green and white with the exact same markings in the exact same places.
How cool is
And it
that?
had something else written on it in Spanish. And
Hmm.
but it had like, holes and things. And you could tell that it was
Hmm.
authentic.
That's really cool. I can't remember which beer company it was. It wasn't one that it might have been Modelo. I think it was Modelo. Modelo did they did a promotion where they had like 30 of those cars. Do you remember the mug bugs? They had like this mug bug root
For mug
beer
root
like
beer?
giveaway.
I kind of
Yeah,
do.
from yeah, they were called mug bugs and it was like this kind of like contest or whatever. Well, Modelo did the same thing with these Beetle taxis. But they obviously weren't real Mexico City taxis, but they paint them up to look like that. And then it
Okay.
said Modelo on the door instead of taxi, which was kind of cool. So it could have been something like that. I don't know. But yeah.
Were they the legit old Beetles, not like a new retro 2000s Beetle?
Yeah, they
They
fixed
were
up
old air
old
cooled
bugs to
Beetles.
yeah, I
This
mean
was
some of them were
okay.
like super beetles, which they never even got super beetles in Mexico. But yeah,
Well,
they were
I
along
would
the
have
same
recognized the
lines.
Modelo logo, but it's entirely possible it could have been something like that. You know
Yeah,
what I
or
mean? It
they
was
just took the Modelo off after they won it in the contest and then put something else there.
This one looked more like Herbie Bananas, where like, oh yeah, somebody found this car, got it cheap, like we would
Oh,
buy a
how
police
funny.
car at an auction, and they're like, they made it.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a locksmith now, or something like that.
Right. That's funny. That's really cool.
It
So
was
yeah, I've
cool
been
though, but it
having
was
fun
literally
driving
going
that.
the other way, and I was really more like, is that it is? I think it really is one. And by the time I was like confirmed it, it was behind me.
That 21 window you saw on that trailer today was gorgeous with the
I drove with
Porsche
it for a
fan
long
motor
time.
and
I
oh,
wasn't gonna do that, and finally I was like, I'm driving with it for so long, I'm just gonna do it. It was so good looking, so
that
good
thing
looking,
was
and it did
beautiful.
have
I want to
those
say
were Fuchs, right?
yeah, oh yeah, I want to say Randy had that on his site on oldbug.com for a while.
Oh,
So he
that
may
one.
have sold it recently. I think so. Yeah, that looked really familiar to me when I saw it. So yeah,
Shout out
super
to
high level
Randy
build.
Carlson.
Yeah, if that's the one. He's selling like this crazy stash of rare muscle cars. Like they're still documenting them and stuff. And I guess some muscle car magazine like photographed them all. So I guess they're gonna start
I
selling
think
those
he found
off
a bunch
after
of
that
Porsche parts too.
case.
Hey,
Yeah, and he
speaking of,
can't, dude. And nobody will contact him about it because he wants to sell it all like as a lump sum or whatever. Like everyone wants to just come and like obviously like cherry pick the best stuff, and he's like, no, it's all or nothing. So, but he's still got all this stuff. I thought he would like be gone in a week, but no,
well,
not
speaking
now.
of Porsche stuff, I'd like to, it's about that time, 5:15. Let's bring in our buddy Ray Schaefer.
Ray,
Hi, Ray Schaefer.
Guys, how are you?
what's up,
It's
Ray?
great
How
to
are
see
you?
you.
Good to see you guys as well. Tuesday nights, the Thursday
The
edition.
Thursday edition. I know I'm a little embarrassed to say why we couldn't do it on Tuesday. Well, I'm not embarrassed, but just it was beyond my control, unfortunately. So
Yeah, who's got to go get a background check?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Ray
So
Shaffer,
We'll
it's
vouch for you.
so nice to see you. I don't know if
You
you
as
heard the
well,
early
man.
part of the show. Forgive my appearance. I am in lazy. I work for Matt Farah vacation mode. So forgive that. But our buddy here is repping the Hunziker gear, as you saw. And as far as the rest, we're trying to keep the train on the tracks. We were hoping to hear a little bit about how your interview with Brian Redmond went, and I want to hear how your week has been and anything else you want to talk about.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's always good to see you guys, and it's been a busy week. I mean, we received as you guys probably talked about already. We received Tory's 906 replica at the Experience Center in preparation for this weekend's work. In fact, I've been back at the Experience Center working this week, getting ready for this weekend, which is when we move out the cars that are from the previous display and going into the new one. And yeah, so there's a lot of work. Jay, you used to work in aviation museum and with the Eames House, and also the preparation that goes into just a
Ray
hall,
Schaefer,
a
beyond
gallery, if
that, I
you
used to
will.
be in the car business just like you. So I remember moving lots and lots of cars. And unlike Jacksonville, Florida, we were up in the New England area. So we had snow to contend with. So it was a matter of get them all out, get the area clear, move the. I'm all about keyboards and moving cars. I get it. I love it. Logistics. At what point,
That's
when
right.
you're changing
That's right.
things over,
Now,
do you realize that you lost the keyboard? Sorry for
I
the
lost the
delay.
keyboard. Yeah.
There's a delay. I'm going to shut up. You go ahead, Ray Schaefer.
I can hear you, but yeah, you're right. There's a delay on the video, so I'm sorry that I'm not sure why that is. But just hand signal me or something if I start to freeze again. I'll make sure I smile
so far so
when I
good,
do.
man. You're good.
Good, good. But yeah, it's just getting the displays ready between the headstones that display all the information about the cars, along with the training manual for everybody that works in the building and gives the tours, and to our PR department that makes use of the information. And it's really interesting, Tory. Your 906. We just sent Bobby Rahall's 906 back that was on display with us, and so they were in the same room together for an afternoon.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I tell you, it's amazing. You told me that the production company that built your replica did it from a scale model, not from design drawings, but from a scale model.
They did. They actually scaled it up from the 1/18th scale mini champs model, and that's all they had to go on. They couldn't, surprisingly, get anyone to let them scan their real 906. Can't imagine why, but yeah, they had to basically reverse engineer it from a die-cast car.
They did an incredible job. I mean, when you had seeing those two cars side by side, I mean, they did an incredible job. And that's really the story that we want to tell in this Porsche on-screen exhibit is the extent that these movie studios will go to in order to create the movie magic.
Agreed. Yeah, it's pretty insane. That would have been cool to see both of them next to each other. I don't know that all. Hopefully, one of these days we'll have a chance to where I could get it next to a real one. But yeah, pretty insane what they went through, to build that car and then to basically do it to where they could depend on it, for filming, and it would be somewhat reliable and still fast enough to, hold the track with the other cars. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited to share that with other people and the story. That'll be kind of cool.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
So, what is it? What is it like to driving that? We pushed it in. Zach was able to bring it down, and then we pushed it into the building from there. So I haven't sat in it yet, or I know it's tight. I can see by
Oh,
the
you've got to
cockpit.
get in there. You got to at least sit in it once. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like the problem you're gonna have is if your legs are longer like mine, like your knee basically hits the dashboard. So unless you scooch way back, then you have to like kind of put your knee under the dashboard or behind the dashboard. There's no like normal seating position. Your kneecap's going to be right under the dashboard, which is kind of annoying. But once you kind of learn it, I mean, I've driven it enough now that I know how to basically drive around the ergonomics problems with the car. I mean, I'm too tall. That's what it boils down to. the guy that drove the car originally in the film, his name was John Capps, and he's a little guy. He was an NHRA, still is an NHRA top fuel guy, but he's shorter. I think he's probably like 5'6" or something. So it's no problem for him. Zach even said he's like, I had no problems with it because Zach's he's a little guy. But for us
Yeah.
taller guys, like it's not fun to get in and out of. But once you're in, it's cool. But it's just the whole aerobatics or acrobatics of getting in and out of the car and where do I put my foot here? And I'm sure it's the same thing with a real one. It's just you just gotta kind of position yourself in and just go with it. But I mean, a lot of people,
Very
I think
cool.
that's why a lot of the people will they convert the doors to forward flipping because they're so much easier to get in and out of, because then you can basically just kind of stand in it and then sit down. But this, you kind of have to like duck your head down and then weasel your way in, and it's just a weird thing. Yeah, it's kind of hard, but whatever. It's worth it once you're in. But I'm glad the car made it there okay. That's a good thing. So
I
Yeah,
want to
thank
hear.
you. Like you said, it was. What's that,
No, I
Jake?
want to hear what Ray's original question though. What is it like to drive that car? You explained what it was like to get into it and fit into it. What is it like to drive that car?
So I mean, it's a blast. Don't get me wrong. It's just I have to be way more defensive with that car than any other car I've ever driven, just because nobody can see you. Like if you pull behind somebody at a light, like they look behind and they don't even see the car. It's 38 inches tall. So like that's the problem I found with it is you just have to drive very, very defensively. Like it's not low, like ride height low wise. Like I don't have to worry about like hitting curbs or like speed bumps or anything like that. Like
But your
that's not the
roof line.
problem. It's just yeah, it's just nobody can see you from other cars. So like I've still yet to have the car on the interstate. I refuse to take it on the interstate just because like when you look up and you see the top of an 18 wheeler tire, like it's crazy. Like you just feel super, I guess if I could sum it up with one word, it's vulnerable. You just feel really vulnerable. Like even more so than when I had the Beck 550. That car to me I felt was vulnerable, but this thing takes it to a whole other level. And
You
which is
you'd
weird.
be
You think it'd
you'd
be
be
the other
thrown
way
clear of
around
the back
because
of the
what's that?
550. You'd be thrown clear of the 550. You're in that cage in
Yeah,
this one.
exactly.
Ray,
Exactly.
what
This
he's
thing you're not going
describing
anywhere.
sounds so similar to me, and maybe you can back me up to my. And I don't know if you had the European suspension or the American suspension on your DeLorean, but what he's describing was absolutely the DeLorean experience here in Los Angeles, with the lowered suspension and everything. You look up and you're into the wheel wells of the 18 wheelers, and it was for sure unnerving sometimes. Did you ever have that with yours?
I did. In fact, when I bought mine back in 2003, I think it was 2003, 2004, from the DeLorean Motor Company out in Houston, Texas, they were just working with IBOC on creating the spring and the special spring package for that car to bring it right down to the ride height that was intended for the car.
Right.
And so, yeah, so they put it on the car for me before I flew out there, picked it up, and then I drove it home 10 hours from Houston, Texas to Jacksonville, Florida, straight shot across I-10. And so that was my first experience really in the car, was that 10-hour drive with it. But you're right, you're looking up at a lot of 18 wheeler tires and what have you. You definitely have to be very aware. But this is where I guess having ridden motorcycles comes in handy. That experience of just you're looking in the mirror and you're actually seeing in the other car's rearview mirror what they're looking at.
Right.
Are they looking over, that type of thing? So it's just good
Looking for
good driving
eyeballs.
skills. Yeah,
Yeah.
always.
Yep. Yeah, that's a
Wow.
good
For
way to put
sure.
it. And I mean, another thing that's got kind of in common with the DeLorean as well is the window situation. There's no roll down windows. There's no like you can't go to a drive-in. Like there's no
Does
like isn't there
anything
just a
open at
little
all? Is there a little
not
hatch or
really.
anything?
There's like it looks like there's some little vent wings that they built in, but they don't really move. It's basically just to kind of like get airflow through the car. But yeah, there's nothing opens on that. No, it's all just plexiglass. It's affixed, like it's bolted in. So yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and hot. That's the other thing I would say. Vulnerable and hot. That's how I feel driving it.
Sure.
It's
Again,
it's
sounds like the
toasty.
DeLorean
Yeah. Yep.
for all the same reasons. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
But it's
Well,
still fun.
gosh,
I mean, I still couldn't think of another car that is more fun to drive. So I don't know. It kind of puts you in the mindset of what those guys went through back then. So that's kind of the other thing that I like about it. It's like, you wrap around your mind that like, wow, these guys did this flat out for 24 hours at a time or 12 hours at a time. and they were really racing. Like, and that's crazy, absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
How much driving did you do the day you shot your film? I mean, that was a
Um,
couple hours, and you said I'm done.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. I was like in the car for at least, I would say, at least 4 hours probably at the track, and I was like, wow, and I mean, a lot of that was just waiting in between shots to get set up and stuff like that. So like, it wasn't even like full bore racing the whole time, and I was just like, man, it's hot. Like, I mean, you could have wrung that race suit out. I did wash it, Ray, before I sent it to you. So
Thank you.
you're
Thank you.
welcome. So it's not gonna reek, but yeah,
Seeing
it
how
was.
I get to dress the mannequin.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun with that. Don't get too close. No, it's clean. You should be good.
That's so great. Well, Ray Shaffer, what's going on with you? How was your week?
It's been interesting. I mean, we, as you mentioned in the opening, and we texted earlier, we had Brian Redman as our guest on Fresh Brewed and Air Cooled Deep Tracks last Saturday. And as we talk about the vulnerability of these cars, whether it be a 906 or a 550 Spider, it's just amazing because you do get a sense, Tory. You're absolutely right of what these guys were dealing with. I mean, you talk to Brian, you watch the episode and you hear the commitment that's in his voice for the job that he was doing. And those cars, I mean, here we are talking about driving on the interstate, looking up, and there's hoping that somebody sees you coming on that you're in the other lane. But when these guys were racing cars like the 906 on tracks or circuits like the Targa Florio, which wasn't a racetrack, and they've got stone walls lining the road where there are walls, and then you have high curbs, and you have buildings, and you can just imagine if you get it wrong or something breaks, as it did with Brian in 1971, and the car hits a curb. It's like the mechanic warned him: if you're going to crash the car, don't do it on the right side because that's where the fuel tank is. And
Like you have any control over that if something really catastrophic fails. It's like, it's crazy.
I mean, it is, and my respect for what those guys were doing is so high, and it's so amazing to be able to talk to a guy like Brian Redman and to hear the stories from him, because the spirit, the soul of these people, guys like Brian and Vic Elford and Gerard LaRousse, they may be aged now. The bodies may be aged. I'm aging. We're all aging, and as you get older, your abilities to physically to do things change, but the mind, the spirit, and the soul to do what they did is still there. I mean, these guys, like I said in the broadcast, these guys are gladiators. And while I might have been too young to remember or even know what the Targa Florio was in 1970, the year that I was born, I'm just thrilled that I was born into a world where this type of thing could happen. And to get to know a guy like Brian Redman and to hear his stories about it, it's very special. I hope you enjoyed the time you had with it. And for those of you who haven't watched it yet, I encourage you to do so, because it's so amazing to hear the experience directly from them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Ray. The thing that strikes me about it is, we've all read books on these guys. We've all.
Oh gosh, that was my fault. That was my fault. I tried to cut to him and I kicked him out. Come on back, Tory. I'm so sorry, Ray Shaffer.
I can hear him.
It was fully my fault. It was fully my fault. It's me not knowing the equipment over here. Sorry, buddy. Come on back. There he.
Over there?
What happened?
There we
My
go.
fault. It was
No, it's all
my
good,
fault,
man.
buddy. All me. I
All,
apologize.
all good.
Please pick it up where you left off.
No, what I was gonna say is that we've all read the books about our heroes and all of that. I said, but the thing that really struck me about watching that show is it just adds this whole other dimension to hear it from the source. Hear these stories told the way you picture things in your mind when you read a book. And you kind of read into it how you think that they're wanting to be read into, but to actually hear these words from the guy that was there on fire, I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. That's what I love about what you guys are doing, because you're still kind of, it's like living history, these guys that are still with us, luckily.
Yeah.
can tell some of these stories, these deep tracks, and they tell them with the tenacity in which they experience these things, and that just for me, it just is it's a whole other level of cool. And just
Very
hearing some of
special.
the stories, and like you said, to him it was just a job. He was just like, this is what, we made 65 quid a week doing this, and this is, I was just happy to have the drive. And I knew the risks that came with it. If I caught on fire or something failed, whatever, we knew what we were signing up for. It's just like, man, I mean, what a just different level of guys. It's amazing.
Badass.
Yeah, they really
Badass.
were. They really were badasses.
Yeah,
And
and they still are. I mean, that's the thing I think that's good to know. And when you meet guys like Brian, when you're at a concours, when you're at a vintage race event, or wherever they may be speaking, to talk with them and know, I mean, they are badass again. And that's my whole point. We all age, and while the body might not be able to do what it could at one point in time, the mind is still there. The soul and the spirit that made them the person that they are. I mean, that's still with us, and that is the part that is so unique, that not everybody has that level of commitment to do what they did. I mean, Brian, in his case, he had the major life-threatening accidents that not only did he come back from it, but he went back to work, and
right.
he did his job. And it's you think about the spirit that it takes to have that, to get back on the horse. And I talked about that with him, because in his case, every time that happened, it was due to mechanical failure. If he would have said, I knew what I did wrong, I made a mistake, and I just told myself I would never do that again, and I would always think it through, then I could understand that. But every time it happened to him, it was because of a mechanical failure, which is, you never know when that's going to come.
Right.
It could, or may or may not come. But to get back on the horse with that, after all the incidents and the recovery period and everything that he had to go through, I mean, what that says about the passion that you have for the sport and for the art of driving high performance like that at competition. I mean, it's just, guys like that are few and far between. And it's why I say on the show, don't just go meet your heroes, which I know some people tell you shouldn't meet your heroes. Well, I disagree wholeheartedly. Not only should you go meet your heroes, but you should get to know your heroes, because they are amazing, amazing people.
Yeah, completely agree.
Love that.
The other thing that was weird about that, that kind of struck me too, is how much trust these guys must have had in the engineers that were putting these cars together. And Peter Stevens actually touched on it on the episode before, when he told that story about, if I do this, and this, like, am I good to go, 260 miles an hour or whatever it was? And he's like, yeah, you should be okay. It's like,
Yeah,
man,
it's so
the
right.
level of trust that these guys had, with just a handshake, like, or a nod, like, yeah, I think you'd be all right. We changed the spring rates. You're an inch lower, whatever,
Well, I mean, you're right. And I mean, to fill in that part of the story there, I mean, Jay, what makes that so amazing is that we're talking about Andy Wallace, who happened to be at Volkswagen's. I think they did this at Nardo, which is the big oval where they can run top speed, and so they were there, and they were running the McLaren F1, trying to get the record top speed with this car, and they just weren't having the success with it that they thought they should. And so on one of the breaks, Andy just decides to pick up the phone and call his friend Peter Stevens, who designed the aerodynamics of the car and everything, and basically say, yeah, we're just having an issue with this. We're not getting where we want to be. And what Tory's talking about is Peter just basically saying, answering the phone and going, oh yeah, well, we might try doing this, try doing that. And then he hangs up the phone with him, knowing very well that the driver's going to walk off, his very good friend, go get back in that car and try to go 240 miles an hour. I mean, think of that. That's right. The confidence that you have to have in your engineering ability, which again goes to show you, not only are these drivers badass, but people that have the skills, whether it's design, engineering, athletic skills. I mean, when you're committed and the passion is there for doing what you do and doing it the best you can, sometimes other people's lives depend on it. And I mean, it's not something you typically think about in motorsport. You typically associate that more with medical and other type of life and death situations. But my gosh, I mean, we certainly have it in the auto industry. There's no question about it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the other thing is I think so many of the drivers of the '60s and probably even '70s as well. A lot of those guys had that kind of engineering background as well. At least the successful ones did, because they could get out of a car after a lap, go to the crew chief or whoever was setting the car up, and tell them like, look, I think back's too stiff, front's too soft. I think the car could be lower. I think and guys like Ken Miles, they were known for that. That
Yeah.
they just had such a mechanical mind that they could tell the guys that were building the cars right off the bat, like here's what I think is wrong, and then they were seconds faster out of the box after just a quick tweak, which is just amazing.
Love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't think that happens as much these days, but it's a different game now. You've got big corporations and sponsors involved, and it's just there's a lot more cooks in the kitchen now, I think.
Well, it's if you have the F1 app on your tablet, and if you watch a Formula One race with this app, where you can actually listen into each team radio, and you can select the camera views, whether it's whatever driver you're listening to, you realize in the current state of Formula One how much the team is telling the driver what to do from a standpoint of constantly adjusting things on the steering wheel, and the ability to anticipate where they're going to catch a competitor, where they're likely to make the pass. In the case of a hybrid car, you have to be able to give it time to properly recharge the system, get the braking system where it needs to be, get your tires to a certain temperature, and then the driver can make their attack. So what you hear today is a lot of coordination that happens between the driver and the team, and there's no hiding. Where a driver might be able to get away with something and then come back to the pit and kind of say, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. There's no way that's happening today.
Not with telemetry and computers. It's all right there.
It's all there. So, I mean, it's a very different game today. It's no less fascinating, but I think in some cases it's maybe even more of a team sport that way now.
Definitely more cooks in the kitchen. It's not three guys at Willow Springs taping string to a GT40.
Right. Exactly.
Still kind of cool.
What a
I
great
get that
story.
reference now,
that sounds
'cause
like
I've seen
your
the
rabbit
movie.
hole, Jay. The whole
I've finally seen the movie.
the live radio thing, that sounds like your jam a couple weeks ago with the NASCAR. Jay went down this rabbit hole of the NASCAR radio
That's
stuff.
all I could think about when he brought it up. I wanted to say radioactive. It's called radioactive. And it's the truth, though. He's right, though. It's amazing how much, when you're in the fan, you think of yourself driving a car, right? You're making all the decisions. There's someone in their ear. There's probably 5 or 6 people in their ear. There's spotters. There's the pit crew. There's just so many different people, and they're all doing what they're doing aero adjustments nowadays. It used to be suspension adjustments were a big deal. Now I think they make aero adjustments and power adjustments, maybe even fuel adjustments. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. There's so much in the case of the car. In the case of the Mercedes-Benz Formula One car, they actually can adjust the geometry of the front suspension now. And so,
oh man!
So they can change camber on the fly and stuff like
that. By pushing the steering wheel in or pulling it back, you can change the.
Wow.
They're the only ones that can do it right now, and it hasn't been outlawed yet. But right now, when they're behind the safety car, they're able to adjust the suspension, which allows for them to have the ability to warm the tires, even though the car's going slower, which the other cars on the grid can't do. So
no wonder they always win.
No, they've got their act together. They deserve to win right now.
This is a great time. Since I have you both here, I'd like to just take a moment and welcome a new sponsor to our show. The difference between men and boys is the coverage for their toys. What do I mean by that? I'm going to bring the boys back in here. What do I mean by that? Tory, what kind of coverage do you have on your toys?
I have Haggerty on my toys.
Haggerty is a very reputable brand. If you like Haggerty, you can also get them through St. Clair Insurance. So the difference between men and boys is the coverage for their toys. St. Clair Insurance coverage for your toys, and that's at coverageforyourtoys.com. We're trying to figure out some old schooly way to, like, you know how Johnny and Ed used to kind of just do this stuff live read. The podcast way is to sort of do that stuff up front. We're trying to figure out a way to incorporate it and make it a little bit more fun. And huge shout out to Jeff Sinclair for wanting to do this with us. We couldn't be more excited about it. So there's going to be a lot more stuff with them in the future, and we love them. So there you go. And if you need insurance for any of your toys, we're not just talking about automobiles. We're talking about jet skis, mobile homes, boats, anything, and obviously all of your automotive needs, specifically collector car insurance. Telling you, coverageforyourtoys.com, Sinclair Insurance.
Very important.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Thank you both for letting me get through that. It's my first one of those.
Absolutely.
Ray Shaffer, what else was there? There was something else we wanted to discuss with you. I feel like there was one other thing. I really want to know
what
how
about
your
moving
week
day
has
this
been.
weekend? Tell us about the moving day this weekend. What you're going to be doing this weekend?
There you go.
Yeah, every 6 months. So we're at that point. It's a you have a lot of time when you do something. You change out the exhibits every 6 months. You have this sort of rhythm that happens to it all, where you are working to get the cars to come up with the theme. Then you find the vehicles to fit the theme. Then you have to work out all the paperwork with that, make all the arrangements. Then you have to write the stories, get all that in place. And so now we're at the last 2 weeks really come down to the details of getting the cars there, getting them unloaded, getting them in a holding place so that you can make this transition, this switch that happens. And then you have to have people help you do that. There's a lot of lighting adjustments that go on, and I'm not the lighting guy that Jay Ryan is, but nevertheless, I'll be up on a ladder for a good half a day adjusting gallery lights and setting the stage. And I really enjoy that process. I mean, it's so much fun because when the doors open that Tuesday, then the folks who have an appointment for a drive experience at the PEC come in and they get a chance to learn the story that's there and look at all the cars that are in place. But I also get to interact with all the car owners, and that's the part. I mean, that it's coming up on 5 years for me at the Porsche Experience Center Atlanta since I left Brumos. And it's amazing, but the people that I've met, and it's just been so much. It's been so much fun. I love that aspect of it. So what happens this Saturday is that's the actual Sunday is actually the day that we do that when the PEC is closed. So we can take everything apart and make that change, and we'll get some photography and what have you. Unfortunately, we can't do it with the crowd that we used to do it with. We'll certainly get back to it when COVID-19 is behind us and we've got it under control. But we typically invite in all the car owners who are dropping. Yeah, exactly. Mine are on the way, by the way. I expect the delivery any day now. My order's in.
Nice.
Yeah. Got to have that Pasha one. So that's what's going to happen this Sunday. And I really, it's just, you finally get to execute it. And Jay, I think in Tory, with your filmmaking, in your past, you guys both know the satisfaction that you've for 6 months been thinking about something, working on it. You finally get to get it done, and then let other people see it. And that's
pretty cool. I remember when we would do exhibit changeovers with the Commemorative Air Force Museum that I worked at in Texas. And it was really rewarding. Like, when the last thing was in place and you kind of you would do a walkthrough, before you let people in or whatever. And it's just like this sense of accomplishment. And it's like,
last looks, final touches, right?
Yeah. You've been eating, breathing, sleeping this exhibit for the last, however many months. And you finally get to kind of throw it out there to the world. Like, it was such a fulfilling thing. I really missed that. Like, it was a lot of work. I don't miss the work part, but the payoff was always cool to see, because especially with the aircraft museum, we'd invite the people. Like, we had the Tuskegee Airmen in one year, and we had done this exhibit about the Tuskegee Airmen, to see them come through and remember all of these things and be like, oh my gosh, I was there. This is me, this is where we trained. Man. And it was so cool. So I would just sit in the back of the museum and just kind of my arms folded and just listen to all the stories.
This is probably very similar to that. This sounds very similar to me. Yeah, I can't think. I mean, there's people who will go to this place solely to see the cars they're going to see that day. I mean, it's exactly the same thing. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for people to see all the cars, not just mine. I mean, Ray's put together an amazing collection, so it's going to be really cool to see them all.
Ray, we've got to say goodbye to you, but are there any other vehicles that we can tease that might be there other than the Ford versus Ferrari 906?
Well, once upon a time, in a place called Hollywood.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so there's some movies there, but I don't want to be a bad boy and give it all away.
Good boy.
Right, right. So I might need to go watch Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker later to get a little more insight. But it can be a risky business giving away too much detail. So
Definitely. Yeah, you don't want to
maybe
do that.
I say
Gotta be
tune
careful.
into the PEC. Yeah, that's right. Tune into the PEC Atlanta Instagram account, as they'll be putting up some photos and more information about the various cars that are there, Porsches, and some that have relations to Fords that race against Ferraris and things like that. So it's going to be fun.
I absolutely love it. And with that, Ray Shaffer, everybody.
Well
Thank
done,
you
Ray.
so much, Ray Shaffer. Oh,
Guys,
it is
great
such a
to see you
delight.
again.
Every week, such a delight hanging out with you. So much fun. Thank you, Ray.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Take
He's
care.
the best.
Bye, Ray.
He is the best. All right. Gosh. I muted him, but I like that he sometimes hangs out with us for the rest. I have to go let
Heck
the
yeah.
cat out of the other room, so excuse me. Actually, you know what? I'll do it on here. Here we go.
There you go. We can actually follow you. We can watch you let Meow Meow out.
There we go. I hope
That's awesome. I love that we all have our pets with us. Like, I've got a dachshund behind me, and I've got a dachshund at my feet right now. It's hilarious. They're
There
all
we
just
go.
out chilling.
Meow meow,
Aw.
live on Kitty Cam. Hi, meow
It's
meow.
bring your pets to work day.
It is. I love when this happens. Don't you do it.
That's awesome. Don't do it. Don't jump. I know we all want to
Every
lately.
time. There we go. Oh, that's a riot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry,
That's
but it
really
makes me
cool.
so happy. It makes me so happy.
That's hilarious. Did you get a chance to watch the Brian Redman episode yet?
No, it was killing me having you guys. I almost
Yeah,
had to
you're-
check out
you're
of that
so busy
conversation
lately.
because I haven't had a free moment to watch it at all. I've
I would have
watched
talked
anything
more
at
about
all.
it, but yeah, I didn't want to spoil it for everybody because it's such a good freaking episode. Like, I didn't want to like spoil all the good stories and stuff, but man, they were amazing. You know,
I
definitely.
think you did a really good job of teasing what people should look for, but also that they should go watch it. I mean, I felt like you gave me some good tips. I never know what anybody's talking about because I don't know nearly as much about this stuff as you do or as our friend at home does. So I'm kind of the dumb guy in all these conversations. Kind of the dumb guy in most conversations, and so I really enjoyed the fact that you're telling me things to look for, and he's telling me. So maybe this is almost a way for me to do it in the future. Like I get the primer first, and then I can go enjoy the material.
Yeah, then you know what to kind of zero in on or whatever else. But I tell you what, the way he tells his stories is just absolutely amazing. I mean, the guy is just. There's something about Brits, and I told Ray this.
I was gonna
because,
say the
you know,
same
you've got
thing.
Sir Sterling is like that. I've seen interviews with David Piper, who's like
Top
that.
Gear
They're
work, too.
Dude, they're so nonchalant about stuff. They're like, oh yes, soul's on fire. You know, no big deal.
They've
Repair
seen
the
it
car,
all.
get back in it for next week.
Yeah,
It's
relax.
like no big deal.
Take it easy.
Crazy. Yeah, like just different breed, man. Different.
Well, last
breed.
time I talked to you, you were like totally and completely like there was just so much. You were starting to get a little bit bored, and not bored like, oh, I don't have anything to do, but like you were starting to get a little stir crazy.
I still am.
I've been nonstop since. So how you doing now, or I don't know.
I mean, I guess I'm okay. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't know what to do with myself most days. Like, there's just, and especially now that the car is gone, you know, there's not like any little things I can obsess over anymore. But like, did you see? I got my plaque signed by Herbert Linga and Hans Herman. Oh my God, I'm so like,
Huge
figures,
congratulations
the day that
to
the
you.
car, yeah, the day the car leaves, I was like, oh, maybe I'll fly down with it and we'll affix it in the Heritage Gallery. Maybe I'll do that because at some point I'm planning on flying down to Atlanta to hang out with Ray and Zach and go check out the exhibit. Maybe I'll bring the plaque down with some
You
screws.
should
and
do
we'll
that, just
do
like
it
every
there.
American Choppers episode where the one piece wasn't chromed and we had to put it on at the fucking reveal. Sorry for the language.
Yeah, at SEMA.
Just get the bike
you know?
done.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, SEMA's canceled this year. Did you see that? That's big.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So crazy stuff. But
I'm really
no,
happy
I'm
for
still
Zwart that they're doing the Pikes Peak. Really happy, and everybody
yeah.
else. Gosh, we actually have a lot of people who have cars in it this year.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so
Do you
that's
want to
only
know anything about
virtually
the
too,
Smoking
right?
Tire Studio?
Yes, yeah. Talk about that. Well, I mean, what you can talk about. I don't want you to get in trouble, but like
Well,
what?
you know what's funny? I was being really careful about what I was posting and everything, but Matt's being pretty open about what he's posting and stuff now. So I think it's kind of.
Okay,
I don't know if there will be a big reveal. I think he's kind of just giving it to. I think he's doing it the
that's
right way
cool.
instead of the way you or I would do it.
Right. I know. I feel bad. I've been teasing my little video for a while now, and like it's still getting color corrected. And I feel bad because I don't mean to like tease people with it, but it's like I
Oh
don't
no, I
want to put
think
it
you're
out
doing the
there.
right thing. See, I think
Okay,
you're
good,
doing the right
good,
thing.
good. Okay, cool. All right. Maybe next week, dude. Maybe we'll do a little world premiere action here.
I think what you're fighting is what I just said that we both do. Like you wanted to just like, oh, wait till it's done and then ta-da, here it is.
Yeah,
Everybody else wants to know. They want to know what the color correcting's like. They want to know what the audio mix is
I
like,
know.
you know?
We're just not wired that way.
I'm learning. I'm learning quick from
Yeah.
watching other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
So how's that process been?
he just posted this picture after, I mean, this is very recent. This
Oh,
was
wow.
of today. This
Oh,
was, I
that's
think,
cool.
maybe before the lights were focused, but this was of today. It's going great. I mean, he has really done something special over there. I mean, it's really, really a neat, fun place. It's very him. It's very car. It's not anything centric. It's not like a Porsche place or a Lambo place. I mean, it's just very. I think it will appeal to a very wide audience, which is cool. It's definitely. I don't know how to describe. I don't want to say it's better than I expected because I was expecting it to be pretty cool, but I don't know. It's coming
Well, he
together.
doesn't strike me as the type that half-asses anything, so you knew it was going to be nice.
And exactly, and nothing here has been half-assed. Everything at WCCS is fully whole-assed.
Yeah.
No half-ass at all. But it's great. I'll tell you what I do have. I do have here. I think. Here, I'm going to play a video. What the hell's happening, Matt?
Come on, baby!
This is the new podcasting table. Smoking Tire. How we're doing it. Yeah.
Holy crap! That's how you get that table up there.
Yeah, that table weighs,
Whoa.
that slab weighs about 400 pounds, and it's really long, and it's really oddly shaped and oddly weighted because there's resin in the holes of the. It's a very, very neat table. So
Have you ever watched the YouTube
then there were
videos on how they make
five
those?
of us, maneuvering it, and then we get this over here.
Whoa!
How many guys does it take to move a podcast table? There's 5 of us, and it really isn't enough.
Wow. That's insane.
So I will say this: it's just like Jurassic Park over there. Spared no expense. Everything is
Yeah.
spectacular. Everything, all the fit and finish and touches and all that stuff. All his choices, all his furniture, all his furnishings, all of the what do you call all the fixtures and all that stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So
cool.
I'm sure. I don't know when it's going to be open to people, but I don't think it's that far away at this point. I mean, we're starting to hang things on the walls and everything. The podcast
So
studio
he's basically got everything. Is everything signed off now at this point? Like he's
No, he still has
Now
to.
it's-
I mean, he's building a new building in the city. I'm sure there are many, many more hoops, and I don't want to get I don't want to get involved in that because I don't know what's right and wrong. But I do know that with the studio as a studio itself is built and done. We're just finishing up like the dressing and stuff like that, and going to complete all that stuff.
Awesome.
But he wants to be in there next week, and that's the plan. But it's super
Wow.
cool. It came out great. The table is amazing. We got these kick-ass chairs. He knew what chairs he wanted, but we got to pick the colors and the material and stuff. But these chairs that he got I guess they're the same ones they use on Joe Rogan, which there's a few things that are similar to the Joe Rogan setup. So they are incredibly comfortable, absolutely incredibly comfortable, and you wouldn't believe it. It kind of looks more like an alien chair, where it just kind of like, really, that's supposed to hold me or whatever, and then you do, and it just kind of does.
Wow.
And the weird thing is too, you can spin around, and as he likes to say, AC Slater them. Like when you
Oh,
sit
yeah.
on the chair the other
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
like a lunchroom.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And then, he's got the Joe Rogan SM7B microphones and all that stuff. And he's got the very cool arms. But everyone's freaking out. Like, oh my God, you drilled into the table? Oh my God. Oh, did you freak out?
Wasn't that what it's for?
No, I don't know. Yeah.
It's a podcast table. I mean,
I've drilled
yeah.
into DeLoreans. I've drilled into classic Cadillacs. I mean, I've
Yep.
drilled into pretty much everything. This table was softest thing I've ever drilled into.
Yeah, drilling doesn't bother me anymore.
I'll tell you what was nice, though. You could tell the quality of the wood when I drilled into it because you could smell it. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Have
Couldn't
you
tell
ever
you what
watched
kind
the
of tree
videos?
it was, but it was just smelled like when you walk into maybe it can't be cedar. It's too big, I think. But like when you walk into a cedar closet.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I don't know. It's not the universal sign for cedar closet, but that's the drilling sign.
Mm-hmm. They actually have YouTube videos that show the process to make those resin filled, that because they'll make tables out of that, obviously, like he did. Oh, they're fascinating to watch. I've actually watched those before he ever did that, just to see how they did that, and it was really cool. They
So
can put
impressive.
like different iridescent looking, metallics and pearls and stuff. I mean, you can get really crazy with that stuff, but
That's
it's
awesome.
it's neat to see how people come up with that stuff. But
Yeah.
labor
Yeah, for
intensive,
sure.
that's for sure.
I think he's excited. I think he's really happy to, get going soon.
Yeah,
Get everything,
I
get
bet.
that place making money.
I bet. Yeah. Oof.
It's super cool though. He was
crazy.
doing a photo shoot for I don't know if I can say who or not, but he was doing a photo shoot, maybe a video shoot for something that you'll see online soon. And he had all of his cars up in the garage. It was just so cool to see cars in the garage. The garage
Yeah.
is there and it's done and it's operating and it's working and it's super cool. The lifts work. You can use them. You can operate them.
That's
But
neat.
to see the colors of the candies in there and everything, like even only a couple of them, and it's just his cars, you kind of get a sense for what it's going to be, and it's overwhelming. I'm kind of blown away. I know he had the vision the whole time, but like anything, you know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
get to see what's in the artist's head.
Yeah.
So now that it's actually here and we can see what was in Matt's head, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I
can't
just get
imagine
it.
what that's.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
him.
can't
It's the
imagine what that's
perfect
going to
thing.
look like. Yeah. Yeah. When it's to capacity, I mean, walking in, your jaw's just going to hit the floor because it's going to be
Without a
some
doubt.
pretty amazing cars in there. So.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's just a really neat thing. And then beyond just the car storage thing, like that's what I think I couldn't get beyond, oh, it's just a car storage place. But there's like a lounge upstairs, and if you're, a member, you can keep your humidor up there and your brandy or whatever you your bottle of choice or whatever. Like a social club. It's just a really neat thing. A really neat vibe. I'm
That'll
really
be
happy
cool.
for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Good
And
for
we're
him,
having
man.
fun. We're having fun. Like this is the fun part finally. This is the
Yes.
colors on the wall. Let's put the pictures up, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, if he can get through this, if he can get through the other part, he can get through this. This is the icing on the cake at this point, because I mean, I couldn't imagine the endless meetings with code people and contractors and like, oh god, I
Years
hate
of
dealing with that
plans
stuff.
before you even demolish the old building to build the new building and whatever.
And just all the red tape. I mean, I know people that are building. He's redoing his house in Topanga right now. Just, I mean, all of the red tape you have to cut through in Los Angeles, and it's just insane. It's a wonder anything gets built out there. It really is, because there's so much crazy stuff that goes on. So for
that's
him
what
to
people
finally be
complain
over
about
that
all the
hump,
time.
yeah, for him to be over the hump now and kind of light at the end of the tunnel moment, that's cool. That'll be really neat. And I mean, that's a real problem in LA, is it not? Parking. I mean, there's nowhere to park. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a car that you care about, you don't leave it on the street. I mean, every day on Instagram, I have a friend that's posting about a car that got stolen or whatever else. I mean, it's happening a lot lately, it seems like. So,
I don't know what the statistics are on crime or anything like that, but I do feel like, oh, we're hearing more stories. But I mean, is that just the news? Like, I don't know. I don't want to pick a side on that one because I don't know.
yeah, exactly.
That's the hour, brother. I feel like
went fast.
I feel like we did it, and I feel like I didn't witness any of it. I was just here for it, and you guys did a great job.
Oh, Well, I encourage everyone to watch that Fresh Brewed and Air Cooled with Brian Redmond. You
And,
included whenever you get time, man. I know you're busy, but
oh,
you'll really enjoy
I'm
it.
gonna watch it. I'm watching it this weekend. I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow because we're doing Breakfast Club, and then I have to do a bunch of like non-studio work for the Smoking Tire. I
Awesome.
think that maybe I'll have it on then in the background tomorrow. That's what
Cool.
I think.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
And
You'll
for
enjoy
anybody
it.
else, that's on the Rhodes Scholars YouTube page as well, correct?
Yes, yeah. You can go on the Road Scholars website or on their YouTube page.
Oh,
And
right, just rhodesscholars.com.
yeah, you can
Great,
go on their website as well. They've
beautiful.
got them listed there. Yep.
And if not already, I'd like to remind you to please consider following Ray Shaffer for your backstage pass to Porsche, brand heritage, and travel-related material, as well as the occasional plug for Ray Shaffer. That's Ray.Shaffer,
Hmm.
Shaffer.
Oh, Ray.
I'm trying to get good at this. I want to get my practice in. You know what I mean? Oh, that's good stuff. All right, you good?
I'm good, man.
I'm
All
good
good
too.
here.
I'm good
Hanging
too.
by a thread, but
I
I'm
love
still
you.
here.
I love you. I love everybody else at home. I feel like we're not connecting as much, and I don't know if I should. I don't know how to do that better. I don't know if I should do it here on the show. I'm really enjoying talking to you, Tory, or I don't know if I should get on the Instagram. I don't really know, but I definitely miss my friend at home, and I want to talk to you more. And we'll figure out a way to do all of that and maybe work it all together. I guess I don't know, but
Sweet. Sounds like a plan.
we love you at home, and please love one another more than ever. More than ever, it's important. I don't even know. Some people, love thy neighbor and all that stuff. It gets really religious and everything. I don't really care about the religion of anything. It really comes down to being a good person, and we're
Just be a good
all in
person.
this
Just
together.
be
I don't
nice.
care unless you kill me or I kill you, and I'm not killing
Yeah.
you. We are all in this
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I don't know. Try to get along. Try to get along.
Yeah.
There are so many people. There are so many people. We have too many people. We have to start getting along. And,
Yeah.
we don't get political on this show, but having different opinions doesn't make you diametrically opposed. It just doesn't.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't, no matter what your opinions are. And that's the crazy thing. So if we can somehow overcome that and see through it and remember that, holy crap, there is more that ties us together than tears us apart. There just is. I know you don't believe it by watching the news or listening to the guy at the coffee shop. Believe it, baby. It's totally
Yeah.
true. There's way more that keeps us together. So I love you at home. Please love one another. Tori, I love you, brother. Ray
Love you,
Shaffer,
man.
I love you.
Love you, Ray.
Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.